was born to be free.
Hey, welcome. It's Bank Holiday Saturday at the end of August, and I've just been getting the boat ready. Hence a bit hot. It's quite warm. It's sunny down here. Blue skies. I think I've got everything out of the car now. Just going to go and check. Stay tide's on the way out. Becky is promoting quite a big rave event tonight for her work, her company. So she's not with me. She's off having fun. I've just got back from 3 weeks in America, a business trip. Look out for my short videos, because on the weekends I managed to get onto boats on both the east and west coasts of the US. Always try and get afloat when I can. So I got back yesterday, so I'm a bit jet lagged. Coming in from California, 8-hour time difference. But I thought, if she's going to do one of her raves, I'm not going to miss the opportunity to come and get on Sampaguita. So it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I think low water is something like 5. I need to check it a bit more specifically. So I've got a chance to warm up the engine and get out. There's 3 anchorages, recognised anchorages in Chichester Harbour. Pilsey Island, where we've been a few times, and that was my last place I anchored before I went to the US. East Head, where I've also anchored once so far. And there's another one at Itchenor, just south of a Clearway buoy, it says, if you look at the Chichester Harbour Conservatory website. So I want to try Itchenor. It's mud, so it'll be interesting to see how the holding should be great, but how easy it is for me to pull out that anchor by hand in the morning. But the other reason is it's a good anchorage, right? If I'm stuck or I come in later than expected, can't make it to the marina for any reason, it will be a good place to drop anchor. And tonight it'll offer some shelter from a breeze that's coming in. So there's a few reasons to go there, even though it's actually not very far. What I'll probably do is head out. I expected a queue here, but the radio is silent and I can't see the lock 11. So I should get out quite easily. I'll probably head over to Cuddly Head. I could stay there. I'm expecting it'll be busy, Bank Holiday Saturday. So I'll probably just mooch around, might get the sail up, head sail up at least, and then come back nearer low water to Itchenor and drop the anchor. I've got a juicy steak for the barbecue. There's also some DIY work on the boat I'd like to do. It's a Spitfire again. Good old Spitfire, you recognise the engine noise. And also, if I can, I want to replace the safety line is attached and tightened to the boat through some string, basically, which I can see is fraying and rotting. I want to replace that. So here you go. Lots of people on boats having fun. Water looks good. It looks very clear today, doesn't it? Don't know if you can see that on camera. So that looks good. Over the whir of that Merlin engine. Hopefully you can hear me. One other thing I want to try. So before I went to the US, I put my Starlink on. I paused it. It's on a Roam package, and you can go from £50 a month to £5 a month. No, to free, sorry. And then turn it back on when you need it. While I was away, they changed the rules. Good old Starlink. You can't. It now is a minimum of, well, it's going to be £5 a month, not free. But they're going to maintain kind of very low bit rate, they say. Maybe it's useful for emergencies, like if I was on the boat, I could still use it to get internet wherever I am. And I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. Rather than free, £5 a month. Price of a coffee, isn't it, really? Well, that's the price for a pint these days. But I'm interested in the speed. So when we get out, I'll turn it on, let it settle, and then we'll do a speed test. And a couple of people have been asking, well, what kind of service do you get for that £5 a month? Let's find out. Chichester, this is Sampaguita, over.
Go ahead.
Chichester Sampagita, request lockout when convenient please. I am single-handed but I have rigged midship lines. Over.
Sampagita, Chichester, yep, no problem at all. If you'd like to slip lines now, we'll get you on the next available outbound lock. I can also have someone down on lock side to help you move your lines over.
Chichester Sampagita, thank you very much. Out. So, just looking out here, I'm killing time really. I've decided I want to try and anchor at low water. Make it easy on myself, minimise the current. I'm on my own. I'm going to be close to Mudbank. So, low water's at 5:40. It's now, so it's in about 45 minutes time. It doesn't have to be exactly on low water, but so it's about half an hour to kill. So I've come out into my favourite little space. Here's Pilsey Island, where Becky and I spent the night and where I was the weekend before I went to the US. Lots of boats there, a couple rafted up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 boats, including 2 that are rafted. No one ahead of the most up the channel port hand marker, where there were a couple of boats anchored last time I was here. So that's a beautiful anchorage, and you know, if I wanted I could go there. The wind is going to change later. At the moment it's right on my nose, 11 knots on my nose, of which I'm making about 4, but it is going to swing around and it's going to come from over here due south, apparently, well, allegedly. That's the forecast, in which case that is almost becoming a lee shore, and there's nothing wrong with that really. Of course you can anchor where you like, but I'm on my own, so when I come to put up the anchor in the morning, I don't really want to get blown onto the beach. I've dragged there before, but not with this beautiful anchor I've got now. So I'd rather not go there. I expected East Head to be very busy, and wow, it is very busy, and I just haven't anchored close to other people yet. So I'm holding to my plan, which is to anchor at Itchenor, which is just up that creek where I've come from. Just killing time at the moment, but I'm going to head back in about 15 minutes or so. So if ever you do come to West Wittering, which is this piece here, and I've been coming, apparently I came when I was 1 year old, my mum told me last week, and I've been coming right through my childhood, and then I was bringing my girls right through their childhood as well. In fact, my family was down here just a couple of weeks ago when I was out in the country. Come at low tide. You've got to come at low tide, or near low tide, because the sand comes right out here and you get these pools that are different, shallow pools, like inches or a foot deep, that are different with each tide, and with little animals and creepy crawlies and crabs and goodness knows what. I can see kids out there on the sand now. And it's so much more space and so much more things to do at low tide than if you come at high tide and the water's right up to the top of the beach. So please check your tide times and come at low tide. You'll have 50 times more fun. Just brought you back so you can see. I've turned around. Oh, it's going through someone's wake. It's turned around. I'm now doing 2.5 knots, not 5 knots or that I was earlier, and I was doing that down at 1200 RPM, going with the tide. Now I'm at 1800 RPM as the tide just floods out of flows rapidly out of Chichester Harbour. It's brilliant. I've got plenty of speed reserves left if I needed it. I don't need it. And you can just see where there's these flat bits and then current ripping round, and the shore's all exposed here. It's just magical. I used to be terrified as a kid of all these eddies and things, and now, well, they're not like my brain, semi-scientific brain, can't explain it. I don't understand why there's boiling water like that. Look at it. Do you see? Is that coming out on video? It's like boiling. It's like coming up in the middle of the flat zone. Amazing. And then suddenly some waves just appear. 1.9. So what it says is the anchoring place is south of that fairway green cone over there, and we're at low tide. The wind is coming over from the starboard side, so I'll turn into that in a moment. I'm just trying to see. I think we can go down to about 1 metre, but I need to get far enough away from that green buoy that I'm not going to drift back onto that as I let the chain out. Let's go and drop it here. I'm glad I moved. There wasn't enough swing room there. Maybe that was perfectly obvious to everybody, including those on other boats watching me, but I had to let the anchor down, let some chain out before I could kind of see it myself. Anyway, I poodled up and I parked halfway between a boat there and a boat there, by just taking her in against the breeze down to about 1 meter's depth, and then letting the chain out. After about 10 meters I tied the chain off and just came back and put it in a stern tick over, because there wasn't really enough current or breeze to stop the chain from castling, I think they call it, when it all just falls on itself. So that brought it back a bit, and then I went and laid out. So I've laid out 30 meters now. I've done the engine test. Sorry I didn't video any of it. And it looks pretty good. We're now, all the yachts are now facing into the breeze, so towards the shore. Sun is going down, and then I imagine we'll lie to the incoming current as it picks up. But we're out of the channel. We're in this place where you're meant to be able to do this. Of course, you never really know where everybody else's anchor is or how much chain they put out. They could have anchored further out and put a whole load more chain down, so we don't know that we'll swing together, but we'll try. I've got my anchor alarm set. I am going to get the anchor ball up and the anchor light ready, and get the barbecue lit, and then we can do the Starlink test. Right, he's going. either Starlink or the 4G switched on, and then I've selected Starlink. We're taking 3 amps on the DC. That's for the lights here in the saloon and the heads. I can turn that one off. It's now gone down to about 2.9, 2.1. I think the Starlink is fluctuating, so that's all fine. Plus I'm charging these. I want these batteries charged because this is going to go in my anchor light. So a couple of things are on. I'll plug my Mac in a bit. Juicy steak, just airing before I season it. I got this email like everybody else saying, hey, we're not going to do pause anymore. You're going to have a standby mode, I think they said, if you want it, for £5, so they're not going to go to 0. So quite a few people are upset by it. Actually, it suits me. I quite like the idea of having it. So now on the app, it says low speed plan. Your Starlink is on a low speed service plan. And if I want, I can just upgrade it and get my 100 and plus megabits back. But don't know that I want that today. I want to see what 4G coverage is like here. Another update. There's always an update for this thing. And on my Mac, which is connected to that Wi-Fi, I've gone to speedtest.net. Let's just see what this thing thinks I'm getting. I think it's going to be very, very low. I'm getting about 250 kilobits, which actually, to send messages on WhatsApp or hi, here's my location or whatever, is perfectly good enough. I mean, actually it's better than a Starlink with nothing, especially as it works well out of cell coverage. And I'm also getting 250 kilobits up. Okay, so we now have some garlic, salt and pepper and olive oil on the steak. I've connected the Falcon 4G. My phone says that it's got good signal. Let's go back and run a speed test. Now I'm at low tide, so I'm very low. I'm 4 meters lower than at high tide. So, oh wow, 4 megabits, nearly 5 megabits, 5 megabits over 4G network on that Falcon unit. That's pretty cool. Oh, and we're rocking. Problem with this anchorage is every time someone goes, you know, it's busy. There's a busy channel next to it. Every time someone goes past, I'm bouncing. And 5 megabits up. Well, there you go. You don't need Starlink. If you get the 4G unit, and you've got good cell coverage, you're into 5 megabits up and down. That's pretty good. I'm actually impressed. Well done, Sky. Let's check steak. It's been 100 minutes. Oh yeah. Look at this amazing evening. We've got these clouds. The sun is behind them. It just looks beautiful. The tide is coming in. I'm just looking at these birds walking right at the water's edge, making the most of every last second that the land is exposed to have a little check for food. We've got a party boat, a few boats down, good for them, have fun. Lots of hilarity going on, and why not? And then we've just got this, I think the sun is going to poke through the clouds a few times and just look absolutely beautiful tonight. I'm going to keep an eye on that after I keep an eye on my steak. Yeah, I'll get the light up before it gets dark. After that speed test, I'm going to use Falcon 4G with my Sky Sim to watch some YouTube videos tonight when it gets dark, rather than Starlink, which is on standby, or that low bandwidth mode. I could activate it again, but I don't want to. How's this for diabetic food? Protein and salad, my staple diet. Looks great. so it's not totally dark. Although my Audi little, I can't remember, light has come on. But I wanted to show you something interesting. So the tide is coming in this way, but all the boats have shifted to point into the wind because the wind has moved as it was forecast to do. So I'm glad I'm not at Pilsey. Well, good morning. It's approaching 9 o'clock after a lovely night at anchor here at Itchenor, and a few boats arrived about 11:30, and it's just trying to work out which way they were going to swing. They're pretty close, but that's all good. No one came remotely close in the end, so I woke up a couple of times, 2 AM, 5 AM, that kind of thing. Just stuck my head out the hatch. But we've woken to an absolutely glorious morning. Look at this. I'm keen to get back to the marina because they do an amazing breakfast there. So I'll get the boat ship shape, get some lines ready. It's beautiful out here. Beautiful. Thanks for everything you guys do. You're really good. Hello, how are you? Good, thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You been cleaning your boat?
Well, from all the birds, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it yesterday morning. Sorry, afternoon when I got here, because it was caked and so was he.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I've been away for 3 weeks, but apparently most of that happened in the last few days. Someone said. In case anybody's interested in what the holding is like at Itchenor, this is what it looks like. Yeah, mud, sticky sand. So it makes a very good holding. Now I need to clean the anchor bay. So while I've got a bit more time here back at the marina, on the job list for me to try and do is, can you see this string here that's perishing? That actually secures the safety line there, and so I'd like to replace it much like I did the mid-safety line. There was a story in the last week or two, I believe a gentleman fell overboard and was in the water for 2 hours. I think the alarm was raised when his boat drifted ashore near here with the engine still running, with nobody on it, and they found him and he survived. I'm going to find out more about that story. Amazingly, I think he was in the water a couple of hours before he was picked up. Good thing it was this time of year. So that prompted me to think, you know, I keep looking at these fraying, here's the other side, this fraying string. You can see dust or salt pouring off it. Look at that. Actually, it's just perishing. I don't want to fall in, so let's learn from his experience. Let's replace this. At the same time, I brought some hose, 19mm, so a bit smaller than the stuff that's on here, but I think it will still fit over that clasp. So actually I'm also going to replace that rubber hose, which is there just to give a grab rail really, and restring the Itechenor name. So this could be a bit of a big job. Show you. I think I've done the right job. I think this is actually tighter than it was, because there's a historic kind of kink here, which I think is where it used to go through this stanchion. I did take off some of the fenders to make sure they weren't dragging it down. And yeah, here's the stitching. This tube I bought, which is narrower than the one I took off, I think looks better. And there's now independent line to hold the safety line, guardrail line tight, and another separate one to then just stitch the Itechenor sign. So I think that's not a bad job. I quite like the two-tone blue, especially because this is the same blue as I've got on my main sheet and also on my Vang line, and I'm thinking of doing some other lines in that kind of two-tone blue. I think it looks nice. So that's that job done. I feel a lot safer now, knowing that that has got fresh binding. While I'm here, there's one more job. When I look back at the video where I swapped the fuel gauge pipe on the fuel tank, you know, from that translucent pipe to a nice new transparent one, on the video I could see dark patches in it. I think that was old bug from a year ago, diesel bug. So actually I now want to take that tube off again, drain a litre of fuel, just in case there's any old bug in there. So let's do that. Okay, back into here. So what I was planning to do, I can't see it now, although maybe that's it down the bottom. There was just a little black blob. Now, I had diesel bug when I bought the boat, and struggled to bring it to Chichester. Got here in the end after a couple of stops, and then I had it professionally cleaned. But right down the sump, because the tank is right under here. That's why I said, is it half full or is it actually 2/3? Because the tank goes right down to here, bottom here. I think in this bend is some residual bug, and I guess my hypothesis is bug breeds bug. So although there's bug prevention additive in the fuel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo these 2 clips that I put on before and break that sealant. I've got a bottle which I can put down in the void here, and I can bend, and I can just drain, I don't know, half a litre or something like that, take it up to the fuel bund, and therefore just try and get rid of any bug. Maybe this is pointless, but now I've seen it, I feel I need to do something. Right, so the idea, turn off the tap, put the pipe in there below the level of where the fuel is, turn on the tap, that's coming out clear, so let's turn off the tap. You see that stuff, this is amazing, look at it. What a colour. I can barely see, it's so hot. So sweat on my brow. Right. This will only get sloshed fuel, it won't have persistent fuel at the top of that tank. That's above the tank level. Right. Slide that on. Turn it straight-ish. Wipe away residual. And do those clamps. Hopefully you can see. Have a look in the bottle and I'll be honest and tell you whether there's any bug in it or not. Maybe this is a waste of time. Who knows? And open the tap. Still showing about there. Right, let's get this and have a look. Put the cap on. Oh yeah, look, there is. Can you see that? Some black muck. So I think, even though it is professionally clean, this was probably down in that pipe. Yeah. Yeah, can you see? Not bad. Certainly not bad, but I'm glad I drained it. Peace of mind and all that. Right, that's that job done.